What I'm going to show you in this section is an onboard video illustrating what happens to your tire temperatures when you hit the track. I've been very fortunate to get permission to share these fabulous videos from a highly censored car. It is very rare to get this level of data quality outside of a professional team. For some reason, the teams are reluctant to share it. So, whilst other systems are available, I want to say a huge thanks to Izzy Racing for supporting our learning today. In the video, you can see temperature data from the front left wheel. The graphics will change color depending on the temperature. The main graphic is depicting a cutaway section to show the tire and wheel rim. Firstly, you can see the surface temperature of the tire. For clarity, this is showing what you would see if you look down on the top of the tire, so it is slightly out of alignment, but in practice, I think you will still find it clear enough. You can also see the temperature for the inside surface of the tire, so keep an eye on both of these through the videos and see if you can spot any differences between the inside and outside temperatures of the tire. Next, you can see the wheel rim temperature and the brake disc temperature. Look out for this one in the videos, as it is not something you will see very often. Then there is other information, like speed and a nice visual of lateral and longitudinal acceleration. So, when I start the video, you will see the car braking and turning to go through a slow right-hander. Watch for the change in temperatures through the corner. I'm going to show you the same corner for lap 1, lap 5 and lap 11 to show you the differences as the session progresses. As ever, there is a lot going on. Remember, my goal is just to illustrate to you how your tire temperatures are evolving through your track session. This is because your tires will be experiencing the exact same things as you see here. Okay, here is lap 1. Isn't this great? Okay, so what have you picked up from watching that? Is this front leg changing in temperature through the braking zone, or is it staying the same? Are there any differences between the surface tire temperature and the temperature inside the tire? If the temperatures are changing, are they changing quickly or slowly? And are different parts of the tire changing temperature at the same or at a different rate? How warm is the wheel rim in comparison to the tire? Is it about the same or different? You can see that even in just this 20-second clip, there is a lot to consider. So, before I show you the next lap, take a minute to pause and have a think about those questions I've just asked you. Note down what is going on and what else can you see that might be happening. You can even jump back and watch the lap 1 section a few times again if you like. Okay, if you paused, welcome back. I will now show you lap 5. Okay then, what did you see in the lap 5 clip? For me, the big difference is to do with the inner tire temperature. It is hotter than it was before. This is because the tire is trying to reject the excess strain and friction energy that it is experiencing on the lap. You might also have seen in this video, and the one from lap 1, that the inner tire temperature is not changing as quickly as the outer tire temperature. On the outer tire surface, there is a lot of rapid and localized increases in temperature. The tire outer surface then cools just as quickly once less is being asked of it. This is because the air cools the outer tire surface. Take a minute to think about what will happen in the wet. Water is much better at cooling than air. Therefore, when you are driving in wet weather, your tire will be cooled faster than in the dry. This is the reason it is a real struggle to get your tires to heat up and also to keep them warm in the wet. Later in the course, I will share some methods you can use to try and counter this. Okay, finally, you can see that the wheel rim has started to heat up. Particularly, on the part of the rim above the brake disc is hotter than the inner tire temperature at the same point. This means there is a temperature or energy imbalance here. What do you think the consequence of that will be? I'm sure you are thinking that the rim is going to be heating the tire, and you will be right, so this is what you should expect. Okay, let's have a look at lap 11. No surprise, by lap 11 everything is much hotter. And yes, you can see that the inside tyre temperature is hotter than before. The rim and inner tyre temperature are now about the same. This means that the energy balance is about even, so now I would not expect the inner tyre to get much hotter. The tyre's outer surface temperatures are still fluctuating significantly, but overall they seem a touch warmer than earlier in the session. Bonus points if you have been thinking that the driver might want to consider adjusting his camber slightly, but I'm getting ahead of myself with that. Thinking back to the early part of the course on tyre pressure increases, if the inside of the tyre is getting this much hotter, you can now see why your tyre pressures increase. Given the inner tyre temperature changes fairly slowly, that means your tyre pressures will also be changing fairly slowly. The good news for you is that this is why the tyre pressures you take in the pits are normally a reliable indication of what was happening on track. Okay, if I put all three snapshots together, you can see the temperature evolution is clear. Personally, I could watch this stuff all day. Also, as a quick aside, put my driver coaching hat on, take a look at the acceleration trace and the brake disc temperature graphics on all 3 laps. What is this showing you? Well, what I'm seeing is how this driver is nicely trail braking into the apex of the corner. This is good technique. He is driving this corner well, so I thought I would share that with you. It is so great we are able to see this stuff. I really hope it is helping to make it clear in your mind what is going on with your tyres. Before jumping onto the next video, I finally just wanted to share this view of the same tyre data, but now back in the analysis software. Again, I'm not trying to turn you into a data analyst, but if you quickly look left to right, you can see the data shows the temperature progressions through each lap. What I want to draw your attention to is how the internal tyre temperature increases fairly consistently until around lap 6 or 7 where it stabilizes. This is a similar trend to the wheel rim temperature, and the temperatures are similar. The brake and tyre outer surface temperatures change a lot during the lap, but also stabilize. Out of interest, it looks like the driver backed off and had a slow lap at around lap 8, which caused both the outer tyre temperatures and the brakes but not necessarily the inner tyre temperature. He then got back on it and both the brake and outer temperatures came back up. Later in the course, I'm going to recommend you take tyre temperatures in the pits, and knowing how the temperatures of the inner and outer parts of the tyre vary or not will be relevant, so make a mental note because we will be revisiting this idea soon. Fascinating stuff, I'm sure you will agree. Now you can see how and why the 3 main causes for heat generation, friction, strain and brakes contribute to your tyre warming up. You can also see how the temperatures vary in different parts of the tyre, both in terms of degrees but also in terms of the rate of change. The outer tyre surface, close to the contact patch, changes fast and is influenced a lot by the air or water passing over it. The inner tyre temperatures are slower to build and change. They too are influenced by the tyre being worked at the contact patch but are also heated by the brakes via your wheel rim. Take a minute now to really consider your own situation. What is happening in your car when you take it on track? Are there things that have happened that you could not quite explain before, but by knowing this, what happened then makes more sense? Despite not having access to this level of data for my own car, being clear in my mind about what is going on has really helped me with my driving and car setup. Hopefully this is becoming clearer for you too. In the next sections I will pull these ideas together so you can start to apply what you have learned.